So, good evening and welcome to fotoMODESTO's online gallery. My name is David Schrader, one of the co-founders of fotoMODESTO and your host for this gallery tour. Each year, February is fotoMODESTO month in Modesto, with a variety of photo exhibits being hung around town and a featured exhibit being displayed at the Mislin Gallery. However, this year, because of COVID-19, most gallery sites have been closed. Rather than totally cancel our event, we decided to put it online. The benefit of this approach is that we can then invite the artists to join us in discussing their work. The theme for this year's event is literally about themes, titled Themes, Projects, and Stories, and is based on the observation that apart from wanting to display images that are technically adequate and artistic in nature, most photographers also have something to say or have a favorite subject matter that is the focus of their work. At fotoMODESTO, we thought it would be interesting to take a look at what some of our local photographers have been focused on. Today's guest is Peter Lee, a multi-talented photographer who has explored a number of approaches to his art. His latest project for this show centers on still life images, some of which are used in product promotion. Let's bring him on and find out what he's been working on and how he does it. So welcome, Peter.
Yes.
Good evening. Hey.
Good evening, David.
Nice of you to join us here. Yeah. How are you doing this evening so far?
Well, the evening's developing well as a photographer.
Yeah. I forgot you have a wonderful sense of humor too. So let's get focused here, and let me ask you a question or two. So I know you, but a lot of people don't. So why don't you tell us something about yourself, where you come from, what you do, how you became interested in photography? So take it away.
All right. Well, first of all, you're wondering who that charming person is there in a Coldstream Guards uniform. That's me, and I represent Her Majesty. Of course, that's Queen Victoria, as a Lieutenant Colonel in the British Army, and of course with the American Civil War. So I am a Civil War reenactor, and I portray Lieutenant Colonel Arthur Lyon Fremantle, who was actually at the Battle of Gettysburg in 1863, and of course he wrote that seminal work, 3 Months in the Southern States. So that's the reason you see me there in my Coldstream Guards officer's uniform. Photography.
So wait a minute, I can tell from your accent you're not from here.
No. We put the emphasis on the wrong syllable, apparently, as I was told. I'm British. I'm from London, and I've lived in California for about 22 years, I suppose, and I teach here at university, yes. So,
what is it that you teach?
Oh my God.
We don't have to go into it a lot, but it's curious.
I run the Department of the Humanities, so I teach Western civilization and world religion. And that's both online and face-to-face, and with the coronavirus, of course, correspondence. So,
okay, so how do you get from there to photography? When did photography enter your life?
I was knee-high to a grasshopper, and I could just about stand tall enough to hold a box brownie camera. I suppose I wasn't much more than 7 or 8 years of age, and I was given this box brownie and 120-roll film. Gosh, in those days we used gratis-spool paper negative film, and you got this film, stuck it in the camera, ran off about 12 shots and sent it back to gratis-spool, and they sent you back the pictures and a free film. So that was my start in photography, and ever since that day I've always basically, when I've not had a steak or plate of food in my hand, I usually have a camera in my hand. So it's from the age of about 6 or 7 years of age.
Wow. Did you get any formal training in in photography, or?
I have trained at college in the UK, specializing in social photography, wedding photography, and also still life. But they were the days when we still used tungsten lamps in the studio. So yes, I have training in photography. And then I've also had a commercial studio in Sonora where I was doing portraiture, old-time photography, reenactment photography, commercial, weddings, the general photography for a studio.
Oh, okay. But I'm assuming that that isn't there now.
No, I do have a studio, but that's at my home. I still have my studio, the lights, but mainly at the moment is set up for still life photography.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So, right, the subject tonight is still life photography. But I know that you've done a lot of different types of photography. What is there about still life photography that is of interest to you?
I think, and that's a good question, David. I think the answer is it's a challenge. It really is a challenge. You have to think outside the box, and you have to develop enormous techniques just to do still life, as indeed with any subject, any theme, but particularly still life. The lighting is absolutely critical. You get it wrong, big time. So it's the challenge, and it's also thinking outside the box, doing something that other people are not doing.
Right, right. You're the only one that I know of that actually spends time doing this. The closest I can come, and I don't know if it's similar or not, would be portrait photography. Is there any similarities between the two as far as I know lighting is important and
yes, but the difference is many people do studio work, many people do portraiture, and I enjoy portraiture. I even took a picture in brilliant sunshine using or I suppose about an 8,000th of a second outside in the park with studio lights. I mean, the most ridiculous thing you can do. So I enjoy that. The challenge really is to do something that is different from other people, to think outside the box. And that is the challenge. I don't want to tread in other people's tripod holes or their footsteps. I want to revolutionize something different.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at some of the work you've done and some of the work that you submitted for this particular project. See, I go over here and advance there we go. What is it? We have lightly boiled egg and soldier's product shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a typical British breakfast. The soldiers is simply slices of British or bread in that shape, and you dip it in the lightly boiled egg, which is boiled for about 4 minutes, and that's how you eat your breakfast. You dip your soldier into the egg, you eat the soldier, and a typical British breakfast. And then that was a studio shot with the lovely diagonals with good lighting. Yeah.
Did you eat the product after you shot?
Oh yes. Not always, but if it's still warm, I'll have it. But all of the shots, you have to have a pre-shot first. You have to have a subject there to line up the lights first. Then you bring your main product into the studio. So everything is set up ready. Yeah. This is the hero. Before the hero comes the setup shot. So you set it up, then you bring the hero in, which is the lightly boiled egg. Then afterwards you can eat it. Yeah.
Okay. Was this done for any particular reason?
No, I'd seen the ideas of using mat board as a way to create the diagonal. So it really was an experiment in using mat board and the diagonal to give it that perspective. So that was new. the lighting was, of course, a challenge. But what is it?
Okay. Oh, hey, here's one I could get into.
Yes.
We have
Yes.
Jack Daniel's Apple whiskey product shop.
Hmm.
So,
I did the apple for a UK forum, and it was just the apple without the whiskey. And the judge for the forum went through about 120 pictures. And when he got to mine, it was about just over 100. And I think his vision had gone, and he castigated it, and he said it was too blue or something. I don't know what he was talking about, but the lighting was correct. The apple was correct. And so then I had to take the picture of the Jack Daniel's whiskey, and there are two separate photographs. Whiskey is one photograph, the apples are another photograph, and then you have to introduce the two together, like husband and wife. You bring the two together and you create the product shot. So lighting is critical. And another thing also very, very important is the glow behind the whiskey. That is the challenge. It's not a light, it's a way we do product photography, but to get that glow is not easy. It is a challenge. It can be done, but it's a challenge.
any quick hint to how to achieve that?
We don't have 2 hours in studio product shot photography. We had 2 hours. I could explain how to do it, but it is complex. It can be done. It's not easy.
Obviously, you did it. So, yeah,
Yes.
no, and I can see what you're talking about. It's a very effective,
Yep.
very effective result.
Yes.
Olive oil and tomato.
Not really. No, a tomato.
I'm sorry.
Yes. I mean, this is the British style of photography. A tomato. Let's get the words right. Tomato. Yes.
Tomato.
So
Okay.
again, I'm using the same diagonal as the egg shot, and I found a rather nice tomato in my garden. I picked it. It's absolutely fresh, and against a bottle of olive oil, and to get these lovely, to me, lights on the oil bottle. You know, that was. It's all about lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These are great photographs. Question, and you say that in somewhat they're described as product photographs. Have they actually been used? Have any of yours actually been used, but for advertising or for promoting?
Not at this. Not recently. No, I've done work in the past, which is more work for magazine work. For example, I did the cover for a Boy Scouts of America for their campaign. I've done that, but that was work in Yosemite. But these are actually new shots. Unfortunately, we got coronavirus, and trying to develop product shots in coronavirus is a little bit premature. So
True.
but I am looking to do.
But it also works with the coronavirus, since you have to be home in your studio.
Yes.
Not out peddling on the street, that's for sure.
Yes.
This is impressive. That's very nice.
Again, an extremely difficult shot, because you have to get that beautiful, beautiful diffused light on the left of the Berghold bottle. At the same time, you need the red gel on the right side to give it the sort of glow that it demands. But as you know, David, the lighting for the bottle and the lighting for the glass are so radically, radically different. So again, this is a question of a challenge to do the bottle shot first, to do the glass shot second, and then introduce the glass into the bottle into the glass, whatever way you want. But they're two different shots, and then montage together.
Uh-huh. Have you ever? This is a very high-level skill set. Have you taught this to any other photographers, or?
No, I haven't. I spend usually about an hour a day in training and updating styles and equipment. So it's just a product of
Yeah.
learning.
I think it's fascinating stuff. It would seem that some of us photographers might be interested in learning some of this at some point.
And you see under the glass that little bit of reflection, because I do have it on a black acrylic sheet. So I am getting that little bit of reflection under the glass, and I'm going to use that in another shot as well. You'll see that a bit later. But
Okay.
I did this for Joe Berghold at Berghold Winery in Lodi, and he's yet to comment on it. But I'll visit Joe one of these days.
Okay,
Joe gave me the bottle and he gave me the glass, so I need to go and visit him, have a glass of wine with him, and show him the picture.
Yeah, how could he not like it? Ooh, lemon lime and honey.
Yes, lemon lime and honey tea. So the depth of field is absolutely critical in this case. To throw the lemons, the limes out, to throw the ginger out, and to get the tea in perspective. I actually did see a similar shot done previously, and so it was really a challenge to do this still life.
Mhm. Another one where I can see you can satisfy some hunger, thirst while you're doing this.
Yes, and you can have a spot of tea afterwards. Yes.
Yes. Wonderful.
Perks for the photographer.
Oh, here we go. More food, man. You must be hungry when you shoot these.
I did this one for a forum in the UK, and I blew my top because what he wanted was a very, very narrow depth of field. We are looking at 3.5 to 4 inches depth of field on this one. So I think I shot this about 320th of a second. Well, you know that with a Canon camera, you can't go above a certain film speed with flash. So this one I had to use high-speed sync. In that case, I got to 8,000 a second. The main requirement was the blueberries in the foreground, the milk in the foreground had to be out of focus. The fork in the background, the 2 blueberries and the bowl of blueberries had to be out of focus. So I got a restrictive depth of field, 3 to 4 inches max, high-speed sync. When it went into be shown in Europe, he castigated it and said he had a blown-out horizon line. That horizon line is not blown out, and I've gone back and he refuses to talk about it. But he castigated me for having a blown-out background, which is not. So, but that was my shot for Europe. Yes.
Okay. So when you say he castigated you, who might that be?
It's a person I work with in Europe, and we have a forum for this. So I do it's a muffin shot. And yes, I did eat the muffins afterwards, David.
Yes.
Now,
all right, here we go. Oh, yes. Wine.
Yes. Now, this is interesting because my major at university was, of course, in theology. So we all know that in the wilderness, the Israelites, they had manna from heaven. So my brain thought, well, if they had manna from heaven, being in California, they must have had wine from heaven.
Yes.
So that very same bottle shot of the bottle and the glass, I had to change the opacity of the bottle to fit the clouds. And so I'm saying here that the Lord provided them manna in the wilderness and wine from heaven, 1 Hezekiah 2:7. So you can look up 1 Hezekiah 2:7, and if you can find it, you'll find the reason for my product shot, a montage. And by the way, the birds are from Prague. The bottle's from Lodi, the glass is from Lodi, and the scene is well, it's the Valley View scene in Yosemite.
Yosemite.
Yes,
Wow.
a challenge. Very hard.
Beautiful, beautifully done. Very beautifully done. Yeah, you're a master at this. Here we go.
Yes,
Peaches.
peaches. Yes, again, using.
That's very tempting to me. I could eat that right now.
It's getting the focus on that front peach. That's the art, and the foil, of course, is the strawberry and the black perspex to give it that lovely glow of the reflection. Yeah.
Very nice.
Now we come to the crux of the matter, because my main camera is a 51 megapixel camera. That's the Canon 5DSR. My second camera is the Sony A7R II. My third camera is the Canon camera, and my oldest camera, which I used in the studio in the year 2000, was the D30 or the 30D. And some people say that first Canon camera, which cost me $3,500, is useless for photography. But I was doing fashion photography, commercial. I was doing wedding and all sorts of photography in my studio with Canon's first camera. 3 megapixel camera. And will it produce good photography in today's digital world? So I took this in February, the early part of February this year, using a sloppy 28-135 millimeter lens and the Canon's first 3 megapixel camera against black acrylic. Stupendous results. David, you can spend 200 snackers and buy this camera with the lens on eBay. $200. Don't tell me that people can't afford to get into photography, because if they knew light and composition and skill, they can get pictures like this for $200. Amazing.
It's impressive. It's impressive. Yeah. I'm impressed because we've had this conversation before, and I had a camera like the one you described, and I didn't like it, but I don't know. You must be a master, because this is a beautiful, beautiful picture.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, what we got going here? This is.
Well, David,
Yeah.
we both agree that photography is all about seeing something in a different perspective. And during the floods, some person who was high on alcohol apparently knocked our fire hydrant out opposite my house. Water everywhere, floods, and the next day they put in a new fire hydrant. And I fell in love with this fire hydrant. I thought, this is unique. It's speaking to me. It's doing something different. So I've got an 8mm fisheye lens. The lens is about 1 inch from the fire hydrant. And I'm getting this 360-degree perspective. And so this is my view of a fire hydrant, how I feel about fire hydrants. And it's different.
Yes, yes, yes. Very nice. Gets your attention right away.
Right.
What have we got here? Come on. Are you going to work? Whoa. Something happened here. We lost. I don't know what happened here. But just hang on a minute. We seem to have lost contact with.
We're still live.
Yes, you and I are still live, but it says something went wrong and it cut out. I work with 2 computers, and I just looked at my other computer on which I've mounted all of your pictures, and it says something went wrong, try again. So, oh my gosh, what can I do here? Oh, if we can just take a brief pause, I can try and find this again. Oh my gosh.
I'm praying, so don't worry.
Okay. There we go. Ah.
And while you're getting the picture up, I just want to encourage other people in the Stanislaus County to be challenged during the coronavirus to get involved in art some way. Maybe it's oils, acrylics, watercolor, crayon, pencil, photography. There's so much out there at the present time, just waiting to be developed for inspiration, etc. And I'm constantly looking out my back to my back garden, looking for the birds, and each day there's something new presenting itself. But how are we doing on the pictures?
Well, it's not going to happen. It totally lost the connection.
Mm-hmm.
So we only had, we finished going through the pictures that we had having to do with still life.
Right.
I had put a couple other ones up there related to some of your earlier work. But this is amazing. Something always seems to go wrong here.
Right.
I'll give it one more shot. Nope. It is not going to connect. Well, I apologize to you. Actually, what we could do is we could come back at a later time and finish up. It's always enjoyable talking with you. You have, very knowledgeable. You have a different point of view from a lot of things, from a lot of photographers around here. And I really appreciate the time with you.
Yes.
All I can say is I cannot reestablish contact at this point. So,
is there a chance that you can get onto Facebook or onto my desktop, and I will see if I can bring up something on my side.
do you see a button down below on your screen that says share?
Okay. Yes, I do.
Okay, well, if you push that, see what comes up next.
Share screen.
Share screen, right? Push that. And then is there a menu up above?
Yes. Select window screen.
Where you can kind of decide on which screen.
Okay, window or screen to share. Select window or screen. Let's see.
Share whole screen.
Entire screen. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Push that. And there you go. And it, okay.
Okay, so that should, is it coming up now?
There it is. So, yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, so this is basically one I took a couple of days ago. And this is a very old camera. And in fact, I have the camera behind me. It's an early Canon camera with a sloppy lens. It's the EOS 50D, which a lot of people would know about. And so this is the Lily Magnolia.
Uh-huh.
And an acorn woodpecker at Oakdale Recreation Area. Oh dear, that's
there's food again.
Well, yes, this is an iPhone shot of some marmalade I made the other day and some loaves of bread. So just an iPhone shot that was. The snowy egret at Oakdale.
Uh-huh.
The great egret. This is a bird that was just on the fence for a couple of minutes the other day, February the 21st, got a shot, it flew away, and it's quite a rare bird here. It's the mourning dove. Again, a still life of geraniums.
Uh-huh.
A red-shouldered hawk. Now this is a challenge. It's always like still life. It's a phenopepla, and it's a silky flycatcher. But the key really is this red eye, which is known for this particular bird. So the challenge was to get a monochromatic image, but retain the red eye. So I converted it to black and white. I used an Ilford Delta 400 film emulation, and then retain the red eye at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a film emulation.
Okay. Yeah.
This one is the purple finch, again the monochromatic. How are we for time?
We're fine. There is no limit one way or the other on this. So.
A purple finch.
Uh-huh. Where are these shot? Are these shot in your home?
The purple finch.
Yeah.
This was at my house, Modesto City Center.
Uh-huh.
Now here's a shot that's interesting, because when we use a 100mm lens, which is what I'm using here, we know that the depth of field of a 100mm lens at an f9 is at best about 1.5 inches, if you're lucky. So we have a depth of field here of about 9 to 12 inches. So this is a 5 images taken from the front, the middle,
okay,
and back, and then photo stacked together to give us this wide depth of field.
Right.
So it's a photo stack.
Someday I'll ask you how to do that.
And of course the white-crowned sparrow.
Uh-huh.
Again, some daffodils using photo stacking. And this was done with a Sony camera and a telephoto lens, the 70-200, and a 12mm extension tube. So it can be done with a telephoto lens, and this is how I did my photography. And then there's quite a bit of diversification. Oakdale Recreation Area, the fire hydrant, which we've seen, Cassin's finch in my garden, the Nuttall's woodpecker.
Okay.
And for product shots, I'm just going to go into my website very quickly. So let me just do that. And we can go into architecture. So this is some of the other shots I do, and that is the monochromatic of a San Francisco financial district, the Doubletree Hotel. And this one is done very well. It's sold in the gallery, and this is the Transamerica building.
Right, I remember that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Very impressive, very dramatic.
Right.
Well, yeah.
We were looking at earlier about one of the farmhouses. This is the French farmhouse at La Cruz in France. And we were driving past this, and I said to Leslie, my partner, stop, I want to take a picture. She said, what of? Well, you and I, David, are photographers, so we...
Yeah, right, we know, yeah.
Yeah. So this is what I took a picture of, a fixer-upper with built-in air conditioning. And every time she passes, she wants to take a pencil sketch of this particular building. And of course, this is a lovely one of an old French farmhouse. Both this one and the previous one have sold quite well. About an 1850s farmhouse in France.
Uh-huh.
And then we can go back to galleries, product shots. Let's see.
Okay, well, let's just do a couple more. We're about at our limit here for time, so.
Okay. This is La Citadelle, a beautiful color picture of in France. And here's the same one using a different technique of to convert it to this monochromatic with the lovely green highlights of the moss. And that's basically what I do is to solarize the print.
Right.
And of course, we all know about Robin Hood and his bunch of merry men. Of course, this is the Burnham Beaches, where several of the Robin Hood movies were shot. And it was raining, beautiful colors, and tree form.
Yep, I can almost see Robin Hood sitting up there.
Yeah. And the Hetch Hetchy Reservoir,
Yep.
and where I used to live in Wales, with beautiful colors, and of course, Lake Buttermere. So what I'm going to have to do now is to somehow get back to this and stop sharing, and I'll get back to you. There we are.
Here we go.
Back. We took a quick tour.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you rescued us. So I have absolutely no idea. I have to research it when we go off here as to what happened to the connection from the other computer. So, okay, well, thank you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for sharing your pictures. It's always enjoyable, and I'll see you around town when we can get out and walk around again. So
Sounds good.
okay.
Happy shooting. Bye, David. Bye-bye.